Have you ever wondered what would happen if Picasso made a Discord bot? Would it be just a boring embed or a next-level artistic canvas card? In today's video, we're going to use the Canvas API to create a pro-level UI with gradients, shadows, and rectangles. So grab your coding brush and let's paint a masterpiece. This is my Patreon. And if you need the source code for any of my YouTube videos or playlists, you can find it here at very affordable prices. If you want to take your community to the next level or need a custom ready-made Discord bot, you can also get it from my Patreon shop. Be sure to check it out. The link is in the description. Now we have opened our Visual Studio Code, and this is part 4 of the series. If you haven't watched the previous parts, make sure to check them out. Now let's go to our src salal commands in Canvas folder. We have been using this file in the previous parts, but for this part, we will create a completely new one. Quickly write the basic code here. As you already know, the first step is to draw the canvas, so I'll do that. Then we'll set its context to 2D, set the background color to white, and create a shape to make it visible. I've already taught all of this in the previous parts. All right, so now let's start building what we need to create today. So up until now, we have only created the canvas and then drawn a shape and a color, right? Now we will create 2 more shapes where we will learn to apply a gradient to one and a shadow to the other. Okay, so let's do it. First, we will create the gradient. For that, we will define a variable named gradient and then use ctx.createLinearGradient to create the gradient. After that, there are some parameters that we need to pass. First, we will define the starting point of the gradient. So for x and y, we have given 0, 0. Then for the ending point of the gradient, we set x to canvas.width and y to 0. This means the gradient will be applied from left to right. Next, we need to define colors and their positions. For that, we will use the gradient variable we just created and write gradient.addColorStop. Here, we need to pass 2 parameters. The first is the position, and the second is the color. We will set the position to 0, which means the start of the gradient, and then assign this color. After that, we need another color for the end. So we will write gradient.addColorStop, again, set the position to 1, and assign this color. There is also another position option. For example, 0 means the start of the gradient, 1 means the end of the gradient, and you can also set 0.5 to apply the color in the middle of the gradient. So our gradient is now set. Now, we simply need to use ctx.fillStyle to apply the gradient we just created. Then we will draw a rectangle and our work will be done. Now, if I quickly write the code to send it and run the command in Discord, you can see that we get something like this. I hope you understood this. Now, let's create the shadow. All right, so now let's create another shape for the box on which the drop shadow will be applied. Okay, first we will create the drop shadow, for which we need to define a few properties to customize its appearance. First, we need to set the shadow color, for which we will use ctx.shadowColor and assign a color. Next, we need to define how much blur the shadow should have. For that, we will use ctx.shadowBlur. Then we need to set the shadow's position. For the offset x, we will use ctx.shadowOffsetX, and for the offset y, we will use ctx.shadowOffsetY. After that, we will simply create a shape. We will set its color to white and draw a rectangle, and then that's it. If I show you now, our canvas looks something like this. Very cool, right? So I hope you liked the video. And yes, when you experiment with different positions, colors, and other settings, you'll understand everything even better. Also, just like we created a linear gradient, you can also create a radial gradient. The only difference is that it has slightly different parameters, but everything else remains the same. You can easily find those parameters on Google and try making it yourself. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Bye.